What up, dog? What up, party people? What up? It's Wednesday night, Wednesday in the PM, Wednesday evening, wherever you at. If you're on the West Coast, what's going on with you people, man? This is your boy, Aaron Duncan. I am your host of the At the Further Review podcast. This is a production by Unnecessary Bluntness. I am the owner, coach, and quarterback of Unnecessary Bluntness Sports Talk. Shout out to everybody in the chat, man. What up, though? Drop a what up, though, when you slide through. I'm sipping on my Wednesday usual, my strawberry acai refresher. So I ain't dozing off on this screen. We got a lot to go into. You guys know the After Further Review podcast. This is the video podcast where you get film breakdowns live. And if you want to see the replay, or if you're watching the replay, it's probably going to be edited down. That's because YouTube does this thing with the copyrights and whatnot. So I got to edit it. I'm sorry. But if you want to get the full replay with film included and you're missing the live, you can become a member. All you got to do is become a rookie member. You can get every episode of the After Further Review podcast with full video breakdowns as we break down every game in depth. You're not going to get the in-depth breakdown anywhere else. You can become a rookie. But if you want to get some individual video breakdowns, you can become a vet as well. So I appreciate everybody that supports. Shout out to all the members. Shout out to everybody in the chat currently right now. You guys are what keep me going. Because it's hard out here, man. We got podcasts out here quitting, hanging up their mics, unplugging their headphones. It's tough out here. They quitting, they coming back, and then they quitting again because they getting yelled at, man. It's crazy out here. It's crazy out here, bro. People hanging up the podcast microphones, man. It's nuts. It's nuts. But I'm here for y'all, man. Always here for y'all. Let's get into the chat really quick before we move on. Shout out to Mississippi. Kevin Thompson, what up, though? Mississippi in the building. Shout out to the SIP. J47, what up, though? My boy Carolina Damien, you change your, unless you're logging into different YouTube accounts, you change your username every week. Every time I go live, you change your username. Ron, what up, though? Old school Panthers fan, what up, though? So you ain't gonna be able to catch the replay. All right, cool. Appreciate you. Evan Rowe, what up, though? Kevin Fockery, what up, though? Tez, what's good, brother? What up, though? Bing Bro, what up? Leon in the building. Long time subscriber, Leon. What up, brother? Kid Carolina, what's good? What up, though? Tyrell, what's good? What up, though? Stream Bean. Dwayne Geddes, what up, though? Matai Lomax. You. Nicole, what up, though? With the bucket hat. Man, y'all know I keep me a bucket, man. Ace Boogie, what up, though? Hezzy Cross. Hezzy Cross, what up, though? Andre Aubin, what up, though? I almost called you Andrea. Andre Aubin, what up, though? Hard to read. What's popping? Rock Jones, what's good, bro? What up? Can't fall for the trap game, what y'all saying? Some of y'all saying it's a trap game, some y'all saying it's a bye week. So you can meet anyone, you can lose anyone. Shane, what up, though? The red guy, what up, though? NDABN and Dabian Ranch. I don't know. What up, though? Evan Raquel, what up, though? Chicken Wayne, you know, man, ain't nothing. You know, I'm the Wednesday, I'm on the late night creep. I gotta put the kids to bed. It's a school night, so I'm on the late night creep. It ain't like the Sundays. Big T, what up, though? Much respect to you for watching too. Appreciate you. Hollywood Gaming, what's good, brother? All right. JB the Great, what up, though? Victoria Springs, what up, though? Nick Rosa, what up, though? Will Robinson, what up, though? So you know I got a little something in that Drake. Nah, not on the school night, brother. Not on the school night. I gotta make it to the gym in the morning. I don't be drinking during the week. I keep my drinking the Sundays. Shout out to my guy Low, man, in the building, man. Shout out to my guy Low. Shout out to Low in the pregame podcast. He said, love the podcast concept. I appreciate you, man. Go Yard, what up, though? You gotta say that Mississippi, right, Dunk? You left out a couple S's, bro. Kev, what up, though? Said Dane said he don't know why he does that. He ain't got time to change names. Placido, what up, though? John, what up, though? So just watch my first YouTube video to come up as real. Yo, my first video is nasty. It's nasty. It's so nasty. As I said, I've been making videos 8 years. Your first video always sucks. That's what I tell anybody that's starting a channel. Your first video is gonna suck. You just try to make every video better as you go. You're gonna get more comfortable on camera, and you're gonna be, but it sucks. I think I made one about the trade deadline. I think it was probably around this time, 8 years ago. I made something about the trade deadline. I think Jimmy Garoppolo got traded from the Patriots to the 49ers. That's how old my channel is. My first video was about the trade deadline with Jimmy Garoppolo going to the 49ers. I think, what did he get traded for? Like a second or a first? I can't remember. And I just thought it was a bad trade, but like, I was like whispering. I was all soft. My voice didn't have no bass in it. It was crazy. It's such a nasty video. I hate it. It makes me cringe watching it. I went back and watched it like last year, I think. Silverback, what up, though? So who cut the cheese? Chicken Wayne say, love the loyalty. Man, got to, man. It's hard. It's hard. I got too much Panthers in me, bro. I can't show no love to nobody else. Shaky, what up, though? SD Panther boy, what up, though? Tom Star, what up, though? Am I going to the NOLA game? I'm not. What up in us? Domas decided. Nah, I'm not going to the NOLA game. I tried it. They tried to talk me into it, but I'm going to the Falcons game and the 49ers game back to back. So I got a lot to do. It's going to be my last free weekend for a minute because, you know, the holidays coming up with Thanksgiving and whatnot. So I got to stay home this weekend. I got some chores to do. Again, I'll be traveling to Atlanta. I'm not traveling, but I'm here in Atlanta, so I'll be at the Atlanta game, and I'm traveling to the Monday night game with San Fran. I can't wait to vlog the trip for y'all to show y'all how things are. Man, they're tailgating. It's like a fun park with roller coasters, all you can eat and drink. I can't wait to vlog it. I'm going to Napa Valley. Yeah, this is the trip me and my wife going on. So we're going to San Fran to the Bay. Going to the Bay. Then low, what up, though? So told me last Wednesday, rocking the cactus hat, popping the blue champagne, tasted like victory. Look, I bought that bottle. I didn't even tell you. You had said that, but I bought my bottle. I didn't even mention it to you. I might have to go ahead and get one early this week, too. I was saying, what up, though? All right. So shout out to me for not being the, yeah, I'm going to San Fran for not being fair with. Hey, man, look. It's hard out here, man. That's all I'm saying. It's been a rough couple years. That's why I enjoy all these wins. People saying like, "Oh, y'all celebrating like it's the Super Bowl." Yes, I'm going to wear my captain's hat. I'm going to put on the shades. The bottle was something we added 2 years ago in 2023. Like, I'm gonna do that. I won't. It's supposed to be fun. We're supposed to enjoy this stuff. We're supposed to really appreciate that. Yeah, people get too focused on, oh, well, we haven't beat anybody. Oh, well, Bryce didn't throw for this amount of yards, or the defense gave up this, or I still don't care. I want a Giro fired. Like, y'all worry about the wrong stuff. Worried about the wrong stuff. We're getting wins. There's no such thing as ugly wins. For us, we haven't had enough wins to be able to discriminate on how they come. You got to take them as they go. Yeah, we can talk about it and break it down. That's what we're here for. But we're going to celebrate the wins, man. Celebrate every win. Every win. We won 2 games in 2023. I popped that bottle. That was the game we beat the Texans. I think that was the first time I popped a bottle on here. We beat the Texans. That was only one of the 2 wins we got that year. You know what I mean? So I'm a celebrator, man. We just been through too much. I've been making videos for a minute, man. We've been trash. Shout out to y'all that still come and listen to me. And people be like, oh, it's not too much to talk about when we're losing. Yes, it is. We were finding different ways to lose. I like to analyze the game. So that's the thing about me. It ain't about the results. And I'm not going to try to get all philosophical and drop bars like Bryce, but it ain't about the results. It's about the process. That's what I'm trying to make myself enjoy. Because I like watching film. I like talking to y'all in the chats. I hate editing. I'm not going to lie. That's not my bag. If I could hire an editor and never do editing ever again and just make content, record, I would do that. But I ain't got the bread. But I just enjoy the process. I like the chess match that football is. I like looking at the film to see what we did to tweak, to make things happen. What was our answer? What we get exploited with? What was missed? What we got? You know what I'm saying? Like, I like seeing all that stuff. You know, whether we win or lose, that stuff's still going to be on tape. And so that's what I try to fall in love with, the process, man. Because the results, I've come a long way. And I'm not trying to say whatever, because I've been blessed that y'all enjoy what I say, but I'm not where I want to be honest. And so I'm still going. I would love to be able to do this full time. That's the goal. I would love to be able to do it full time. That's the goal. And I'm not there. So the show goes on. The process goes on. We winning some games on the way too. It's fun covering my favorite team, talking with a lot of football fans. It's fun, man. It's fun. And so I'm just going to enjoy each win, man. Like I said, we don't get too many of them. I'm excited. I don't know where this team is going to end up, but I'm not putting no ceiling on here. Y'all, y'all never hear me come on here and tell y'all what we're going to get killed. I just hope we keep it close. The most pessimistic you'll see me is say that we need to compete. I think we have the players. I think we have a good enough group to be able to compete every week. I think the Packers game probably proved to the fan base finally that was the case. Some of y'all thought we were going to lose to the Cowboys. Some of y'all thought them games we beat Miami and Atlanta were flukes. But I think there's a lot of belief now. But there's still a lot of trauma in this fan base. Some people seem to be waiting on the other shoe to drop. Some people see this stretch of games we got coming up and just think that, okay, it's over with. It could be. Maybe we only end up with 5 wins. Maybe we end up losing 7 straight. Knock on wood. But you just never know. But the exciting part is we're 5-4 midway through the season. It's cold outside and we playing significant football. We're playing significant football when it's cold outside. I haven't picked up a mock draft. I haven't touched one mock draft. We weren't really crying over trades yesterday. I didn't really watch much basketball either. This is when I know that we in this thing. So I'm excited. Shout out to SC Panthers boy on becoming a member. Appreciate you. Appreciate that support. And shout out to Will Robinson on the Twitter. Said people enjoy misery. I have enjoyed I have soaked in every second of each win. Exactly. We playing in these high stakes, high leverage games. I love a blowout. I enjoyed that Falcons game because of who it happened against. But I'm not minding sweating a little bit on Sundays. It's fun. The stress the stress actually equaling our type of wins, like wins for the good guys. Cool. I love sweating them. I love sweating them out. I love sweating them out. But we'll see. All right, real quick. Let's get to the Panthers news. Look, man. You waiting on the other shoe to drop. You're not gonna be able to enjoy the ride, Gear Nation. You're not gonna be able to enjoy the ride. You're not gonna be able to enjoy the ride if you waiting on something bad to happen. But all right, let's talk about the Panthers news real quick. Asante Samuel Jr. is visiting the Carolina Panthers. We are the first visit in his cross-country tour, I guess. If you don't know Asante Samuel Jr., son of, Super Bowl champion Asante Samuel, has been out of football for the last year because of a neck injury. He had a spinal infusion procedure done that has hopefully got him on track. This was announced during the summer, but nobody still picked him up. But recently it's been announced a letter was written by his agent and a doctor that he is cleared and good to go. So the visits will commence. First things first, the Carolina Panthers get a crack at him. He was at the facility today. I'm not sure if they worked him out. Canales commented on it, just doing their little thing where they bring him in, show him the facility, smile and shake hands. You know what I'm saying? But what kind of player is Asante Samuel Jr. right now? That's the question. When you're out of football that long, we've seen it firsthand. We signed a guy like Hunter Renfrow off the streets. It takes you some time, man, when you've been out the game. Now, it hasn't been as long for Asante Samuel compared to a Hunter Renfrow, but you have to temper your expectations when you have guys that have been out of the game that long. It just is. It's just you have to temper your expectations with these guys. Whether it was Tariq Cohen a couple years ago that everybody got excited about that we never saw. Hunter Renfrow, who's done a few plays for us and did what he needed to do, but he started to kind of sizzle off. The age and the rust was just kind of too much. And once Jalen Coker returned, he was pretty much been a healthy scratch the last, 2-3 weeks. And so you have to temper your expectations for these guys that have these medical things going on, but also when they're out of the game that long. Your neck bone is connected to everything. I don't know how the song goes. Your neck bone connected to your shoulder bone, your backbone, whatever. Your neck is very important. Your neck is very important. You know what I mean? And so when you get a spinal infusion, that's pretty serious. But if he can get back to what he was, he's still pretty young. But he's an undersized corner that can play the nickel. He can play the boundary as well, which is pretty crazy for a guy his size. But he has great ball skills. 6 interceptions in his career. He can take the ball away. He probably won't drop one of those layups like Mike Jack did if he get the opportunity. But this is a guy that was feisty. He's not that good in run support, aka or tackling, mainly because of his diminutive size. But again, a guy that plays zone, keys the quarterback, has eyes on it, can break on the ball, can close, can catch the ball. Pretty solid player overall if he's going to be healthy. I keep saying if he's going to be healthy, because we don't know what he looks like. Everybody's saying like, lock the door. Don't let him out of the building. Don't let him out of the building. For what? We don't know what he looks like. He's got to see our doctors. They're probably going to run him around in the field. A neck injury is no joke, man. And to be out that long, what kind of shape is he in? Because if you bring him in, it's going to be a little bit before he gets into game shape. We're what, 10 weeks in? Dudes have been practicing since August, September, October. It's the middle of November. But it's the beginning of November. But you're talking 4 months of work that these guys have been in, running, being in shape, that he's behind on. You know? And I do think that it's because of the lack of trades yesterday that people are so anxious to sign him. I get it. You see the Jets making all these trades, Cowboys making all these trades. It looked fun, but it ain't. It looks fun, but it ain't. It ain't. It ain't. Fade said he got an issue with the tackling because that's something we already struggle with. That's fair. Do we need Asante? We don't need him, but it would be nice to have some depth. He may be a little bit more, he probably has better ball skills, I think, than Sean Smith-Wade. I think he just adds some versatility of what you could probably do. Maybe you could put him outside and you could put JC in the nickel and you could travel a little bit more like people want to do, right? You could put him in a nickel and You just have the depth. You had the depth. So I just think it is what it is. We'll see if they sign him. Again, he has like 3 or 4 teams lined up. Again, whenever you hear these announcements of visits, it came from the agent. It came from the agent. This is not like, you know what I'm saying? Most of the time, these agents just feed these insiders info to try to create a market and try to create urgency. So next time the agent, they be like, hey, Ian Rappaport, can you put this out that Asante Samuel is officially healthy and we're taking all these visits? And then next time one of my other clients signs a contract, I'll give you the scoop. So it's always like a favor for a favor. So you're talking to these insiders to get the word out, to create a sense of urgency. Like, hey, I'm Asante Samuel. I'm healthy. Hey, I'm healthy, guys. I'm visiting the Panthers. But I'm not just visiting the Panthers. I got the Packers and the Vikings and all these other teams lined up. So just letting y'all know, Panthers, I have other visits, so don't wait too long. Hey, create some urgency. I got some other teams interested, so y'all don't snooze and lose, you know? So the agents just try to do their job. It's the agent's job. The agent's job to create that type of market. You know? And so that's why you're hearing all this smoke about the visits. We'll see what happens. The medicals could be rough. Remember when Chase Young had that neck injury and we didn't sign him, but he went to the Saints, ended up having 6.5 sacks? So I don't know if our medical team is a little bit stricter or what. But again, a similar deal where it's a neck injury that we just didn't feel good about. So we didn't sign him. So just something to keep in mind. SC Panthers boy said, why Smith Wade hasn't been playing when he's healthy? He has been playing. He plays. He's a starting nickel. He's a starting nickel. He plays. All right. And the trade deadline, no trades. I think, guys, the big takeaway from not making trades is that we're in a pretty solid spot. Dan Morgan loves his draft picks. And from all we heard, it was a seller's market. And when it's a seller's market, they can try to set the price. Jalen Phillips from the Miami Dolphins, who's had 2 season-ending injuries in his 5-year career, he was already older prospect coming out, went for a 3rd-round pick to the Eagles. That lets you know how shot the trade market was, specifically in the pass rush game, which is where we probably needed the most help at. The Panthers were not going to give up a day 1 or day 2 pick for anybody, in my opinion, unless it was like you got to steal. Like if you could get Sauce Gardner for a second, yeah, do it. But they weren't going to get it. You saw what Sauce Gardner went for. That was a little bit pricey, in my opinion. But you just see, like it wasn't the right time. There weren't any clear upgrades out there. Despite what people feel about some players on our defense, there's not any clear upgrades out there that the Panthers were going to be able to find for cheap. Some people may say Logan Wilson, but if Logan Wilson is benched on the worst defense in the league, why do we need to add him? Especially when we see Wallace is playing better. Not perfect, but better. Rosebloom is playing better. Not perfect, but better. If there's not a clear upgrade out there, I know people hate Nick Scott, but if we're being real, if you want to go for a safety, it's not to take Nick Scott off the field. It's probably to limit Ransom. Ransom has taken his lumps, but you live with him because he's a rookie. Nick Scott has played pretty solid football for us. So there just wasn't any clear upgrades out there that was going to be worth the price. So they stay put, save their money, save their draft capital, and we'll see where we go. I think that they feel like this year may be almost house money. I think they want to compete, but I just don't know if they thought that we would be where we are at this point. That's just my opinion. So it feels like they're just going to roll what we got, let these guys learn in these high-stakes environments, learn what winning feels like. The young guys, let them get some experience. Scott is playing a lot. Ransom's playing a lot. Wallace is getting a lot of experience as well. You know? And then we can evaluate where we go from a roster standpoint there. You're getting a lot of young guys involved. So there just wasn't anything out there that was worth the price that was a clear upgrade. Again, Sauce Gardner, sheesh, man. And Sauce is elite, but sheesh, man. Sheesh. 2? 2? Man. 2 first-round picks for Sauce? Woo-hoo. And he getting paid already? Woo-hoo. I think so. I think Nick Scott gets a bad rep on some stuff. I'm not gonna. This is a positive podcast, and I'm not gonna show you who some of the blame is on some of these other plays, but it is what it is. All right, let's get to the slides, man. Let's get to the slides because it's getting late, and y'all got me chatting. Let's get to the slides. All right. So, offensive performance. I thought the pressure plan was immaculate. I thought limiting Michael Parsons to 0 pressures for the first time in his career is nothing to sneeze at. Nothing to sneeze at, in my opinion. Like, this is a guy that's one of the highest paid players in the league. And you got to give Icky credit. I got to give Icky credit. I got to give Bryce credit. I got to give Damian Lewis credit. I got to give Tommy Tremble credit. It's a group effort. And I got to give Dave Canales credit. It's a group effort. You know, when you're trying to contain and account for a guy like Michael Parsons, we didn't just throw Icky out there and say, go get it, young fella. You know what I mean? We didn't just do that. Like, that's not smart. It's not smart. So Icky, the system helps as well. We got the ball out quick. We did a lot of play action. We ran the ball. Icky has improved. So I don't want to take anything from him because it's very, very notable. But we had a plan for their front four, and we only gave it 1 sack, and that was to a safety. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to the O-line on that. Shout out to Dave Canales. I think Icky had 1 pressure surrendered. Damian had 1 pressure surrendered. We had the whole turnstile on the right side of the O-line. A lot of people were shaking in their boots. There was a lot of sleep lost by some of the more pessimistic or nervous fans. You got to learn, bro, like, people get hurt. Injuries are part of the game. These guys are professionals. Guys have to step up. Guys can step up and perform. And they did. Again, there's also systematic things that can be done by the coach to mitigate pressure. And I think Dave Canales does a masterful job of accounting for that. They're very, very well coached by Joe Gilbert and Harold Goody as well. I just think it's a whole lot of just should be given to the coaches. Because it's 7, 8 different combinations of starting offensive linemen, and they continue to have these type of performances. Again, we only passed the ball 20 times, so you limited their opportunity to even get after you, right? And so there's a plan. I saw the statistic. Shout out to Next Gen Stats on this. Micah Parsons did not record a single pressure across 21 pass rushes in the Packers' Week 9 loss, marking his first career game without a pressure. Parsons faced a double team on 28% of his pass rushes, his second highest double team rate in a game this season. So again, we double teamed him at the second highest amount that he's had all year. Panthers left tackle Ike Mekwonu did not allow a pressure across 13 matchups with Parsons, including 9 matchups in one-on-one situations. So Ike faced him 13 times. He was on an island 9 of those times and didn't surrender pressure. You know? So, again, you have a pressure plan. You have a pressure plan. And they work the plan and execute the plan. So shout out to Dave. Shout out to Goody. Shout out to Joe Gilbert. Shout out to them. Run game efficiency. Run game was back. 25 carries, 130 yards for Rico. It carried us. We controlled the clock. Stayed on schedule for the most part. Time of possession was pretty even. It felt like we had the ball for a while, but time of possession was pretty even. But the run game continues to be efficient. We just continue to reinvent ourselves, man. Every week, I love to see we're adding runs to the memory bank, adding runs that we haven't seen before. And we'll talk, that'll be one of our film breakdowns. We're going to talk about it. But we just continue to evolve this run game. And I'm just so proud and happy. As a running back, I'm happy, a former running back, I'm proud of what we're doing. Our original runs that made us good last year, most of those aren't working that much. That's why you see Chuba struggling. Chuba runs those runs we ran last year a lot better. But our O-line is just not blocking them well. He still looks a little banged up for some reason. Not for some reason. He just looks a little banged up. Doesn't look healthy. But those old runs don't work no more. We've had to reinvent ourselves on the fly. Every week we're adding more runs. And it just suits our offensive line a lot better. We have a big offensive line. So we're running a lot more gap scheme runs that has one designed hole to go to. You got pullers, you got blockers pushing guys around. We're bullying guys, bullying these smaller teams like the Packers are. Yeah, shout out to Chuba for recovering that fumble. Heads up play. That was a winning football play. Winning football play. According to Dave Canales, it's a coaching point as well. They pick up everything. And the pass game was grounded. We only had we barely had 100 yards passing in this game. Weather did not permit an efficient pass game. We tried a few times. The ball got hung in the air. Interception in the red zone. A lot of guys not seeing the football except pretty much T-Mac. We only threw the ball 20 times. We threw the ball 20 times and threw for 100 yards, and we won. The run game has really been carrying. It's been carrying. It's been carrying, man. The pass game, another struggle bus week. Bryce still looks a little bit injury-wise. He doesn't like he was moving that well. But it's good to have him out there. But again, the pass game, hopefully it gets back on track when we're back at home and the weather's a little bit better. It's not windy. You know what I'm saying? So, we'll see. All right, Bryce Young's performance. Bryce Young's passing chart here, 11 for 20, 102 yards, 1 interception. A lot of y'all are asking about that last run. Bryce, he was talking to Rico and pointing at the defense, making it seem like he was in pass protection. He was telling Rico, like, hey, make sure you block that, watch the blitz, block that blitzing linebacker. You can see Micah Parsons was standing up, looking like he was ready to rush the passer. You caught them off guard. They weren't ready for the run. We popped their run with Rico. Ryan Fitzgerald later. The rest is history. But Bryce Young, 11 for 20, 102 yards, 1 pick. Joe asking if he's not 100%, why risk more? Forrest Fire had a good answer because Andy Dalton is the other option. Yeah, we rather have Bryce at 70% over Andy at 100. That's facts. That's facts. But again, Bryce Young, the numbers aren't going to wow you. There's been a lot of discussion. People wanted Hendon Hooker to start. Hendon Hooker is no longer with us, ladies and gentlemen. If he got cut, third round pick, they got cut by the team that drafted him, was here for a few weeks. Mike White came in and took his chain. Some of y'all should be embarrassed. And I don't know if there's any of y'all in the chat, the people that just hate Bryce so much that they really wanted to start Hendon Hooker. The ones that went from, we need to play Andy Dalton to, we need to play Hendon Hooker. You know what I mean? So, like, the agenda is so nasty. The agenda is so nasty. And it's only a small faction of the fan base, so I don't want to act like I'm just stereotyping everybody. But, like, let's be realistic, man. If Hendon Hooker didn't go in the game as bad as Andy Dalton played last week when he had a hurt thumb, that says a lot about Hendon Hooker. And I don't even want to talk about him that much because I don't want to be disrespectful. But it's really getting embarrassing how some of these people just hating on Bryce. But the bottom line is we're winning right now. Now we can talk about his performance, and I had a tough back and forth on Twitter. So Twitter is not a place for nuance. It's not. So I think that people just need to realize, and this is where I'm at, and you ain't got to be like me, but I think I'm good, and I realize that Bryce, I know what Bryce Young is, and I know what he ain't. You know what I mean? I know what Bryce Young is at this point, and I know what he ain't. We've seen what Bryce Young is capable of. The struggle for Bryce right now is to get to that place consistently. If we could get Atlanta Falcons Bryce every week, it'd be amazing. But every defense is not going to be that bad. If we can get some of that Bryce down the stretch, because Bryce's numbers down the stretch last year weren't all that gaudy either. But he was making the deep throws, stretching the defense. He was scrambling, moving the sticks, getting us into position, had the game-winning drives as well. You know, that's the Bryce that we're fine with. Again, I've said it multiple times on this. We don't need this guy to be a Superman. Run the offense, get us into the right plays, make those smart brain plays like you did in that final drive. And when we need you, make the 4 to 5 throws per game and be special on those plays. Like finding Jalen Coker when you're scrambling and having to jump, that's one of those special plays. It didn't take that many, but that was second down. We were backed up to get that first down of the drive. Then you throw that comeback route to T-Mac. That wasn't really super special, but you're doing what you need to do down the stretch when we need you. That's kind of where we're at right now. Now, obviously, he's hurt. Obviously, he's had some struggles. And again, I know what Bryce is and I know what he ain't. He's not going to look like all these other quarterbacks out here. He's an outlier. He's smaller. That's a given. He doesn't have a rocket arm. So the vertical passing game is going to be different. He can throw it deep when in rhythm. When he catches the ball, hits that back foot, lets it go, he can do that. but he's not Josh Allen late in the down, sling the ball down the field. He's not Drake May, run around, scramble, throw the ball 50 yards down. That's just not his game. That's not his game. Yeah, you would be able to access the whole field with the quarterback, but that don't mean you can't win. We're winning right now. Again, Bryce Young, and I think some of Sunday was an example of some of the all other struggles that come with Bryce. Again, Bryce doesn't have a ton of RPMs on some of his throws. Some of his throws are wobblers. They're not perfect spirals. And so when you don't throw a spiral and it's windy, it's going to get caught in the air. That Xavier Legette throw was crazy. And that was 22 yards downfield. He threw it in the air. It was wobbler. If you look at the replay, it was literally almost straight up and down. Because when you throw a wobbler, it's going to get caught in the wind. And Bryce Young doesn't always throw the tightest spiral, even in regular conditions. When you throw a spiral, it can cut through the air. It's a little bit more aerodynamic, and it's spinning a little bit more. It can travel a little bit better. And yes, I know you're going to say Jordan Love, his got caught in the air, or Jordan Love, he was able to throw. Jordan Love has a stronger arm. So when you put a little bit more zip, more RPMs, somebody made the analogy, the difference between a rifle and a musket from old guns. And so Bryce Young doesn't always throw a spiral. So many times, there's going to be times where they get caught up in those type of conditions. And so I think we've done a good job of building a system and type of receivers that mesh with him. People are curious why we don't have that burner to take the top off. I think we could use one of those, but I just don't think that's Bryce's game all the time. Yes, he could throw it in rhythm, and then we're going to take our opportunities for deep shots. But Bryce is going to work that intermediate. Bryce is going to work the outside. He can hit the middle of the field on those dig routes, those crossers. There's currently opportunities to go hit post routes and stuff now with XL. So we can just make those work. But I think you just got to realize what Bryce is and what Bryce ain't. He's our quarterback till he ain't. And so we rocking and rolling with the Yumbo. We rocking and rolling with the Yumbo. Said Love had 2 balls get caught in the air. Yeah, because he threw him 50 yards down the field. That's just a no-no. If you're throwing the ball up in the air as high as a punt, yeah, it's going to get caught in the air. But Bryce is getting caught in the air when they're 15, 20 yards off the ground. You got to throw a little bit of a tighter spiral to be able to cut through the air. It's a lot more aerodynamic. It's a lot easier for receivers to catch as well when it's a tight spiral because they got their hands together like this. They want the nose of the ball to go right between, they call it the noose, for lack of better words. But they want the nose of the ball to go right between, when they put their hands together, to go right between that. But if it's wobbler, it's hard to figure out where the nose is because the nose is all over the place. It ain't just a tight spin coming at your hands. It's hard to squeeze it. So that's why you see some struggle sometimes with players catching it. But I just think the clutch gene with Bryce Young, man, it's something that continues to show up, and it's after a while it's like a running joke, but like now, like it's kind of beyond coincidence, bro. He's tied for the most game-winning or tying drives in the NFL since he's been in the league in 2023. Not to mention he was benched for 6 games. You know what I mean? He was benched 6 games and still has that many fourth quarter game-winning or tying drives. The legend grows on. Yeah, I would love us to win a couple more comfortable games so he ain't got to win like that every time. It would help my heart and my blood pressure. But, like I said, we're going to take these wins as they come. All right. Offensive standout. This is just going to be a weekly Rico Dowdle space, apparently. It feels like every week is Rico. It's Rico every week. And Rico is who we're going to watch the film on. We're going to look at Rico's best runs. Yeah, I saw Rico got fined for the pumps. Rico, 25 carries, 130 yards, 2 touchdowns, his first 2 touchdown game in his career, man. Shout out to Rico, man. Like, dude really, like, the thing is, man, we got to ride this dude into the dirt. And it sounds harsh. But we got to ride this dude in the dirt. Yeah, it definitely could have been icky for the standout. But again, we didn't pass enough for me to feel like I gave him a full body work. Rico, man. Rico continues to shine. He continues to shine. And we just, again, they gave him the day off of practice today because they need him fresh for the game. But to me, I'm running this dude in the dirt. I don't know what the offseason holds. But if we keep it in the stack, I'm running him into the dirt. I'm running him into the dirt. If he going to keep running like this, run him till the wheels fall off. And when he tired, give him a breather. Get in Chuba, get in ETN, and then get him back in there. Nobody runs harder than a running back that's motivated, that wants to get paid. And this brother wants to get paid. He does. So let him prove his worth. Run him in the dirt. You know? So that's what I say. But real quick, before we get into the film, about to watch the Rico tape, make sure you guys give this video a thumbs up if you have not. We got 212 people in the chat. Appreciate that. Shout out to Chicken Wang on the super chat, though. Saying, hoping to help you become full-time. Sorry for paying less than minimum wage. Look, anything helps, man. Anything helps. And yes, my quest is to do it full-time, man. I appreciate all the support on that journey. Again, this ain't about being fair weather. It's hard to make videos when we're losing. It's hard to make videos when we're winning. I'm not gonna lie to you. The time commitment is about current, like, sports. News only lasts about 2 days. So you gotta, like, be quick to jump on stuff if you want to get on it, because, like, 2 days later, news changes. Nobody cares anymore. Like, the trade deadline was yesterday, but, like, after the moves are made, nobody cares because half the people's teams didn't even do anything. So nobody cares anymore. You get about 2 days or so before news is done. So it's just, making videos is tough, man. Losing, yeah. The only thing bad about us losing and making videos is y'all don't care. That's the hard part. Because I feed off of y'all energy. So when we losing, y'all don't care. And nobody wants to watch. You know what I mean? So that's the only hard part about losing and making videos. That's all I gotta say. But appreciate you, Chicken Wang, on the super chat. Arvera, what up, though? Yeah, Rattler, Joe clearly, Rattler's not starting. Rattler's bench. We're playing Tyler Shuck. We're playing Tyler Shuck. Why not pay him something small to keep Rico? I don't know if he'll go for something small. But who knows? I mean, people are giving up on Jonathan Brooks, but the only people giving up on Jonathan Brooks have not seen Rico Dowdle's injury history. The people that are giving up on Jonathan Brooks Have not seen Rico Dowdle's injury history, brother. I want to show y'all something. Can I find it? Okay, I can't find it. They don't have it. Where's that list? There's a website that shows you. Okay, so here we go. No, where's it at? Where is it? Okay. He went to South Carolina. We know. So as a freshman in college, Rico Dowdle had hernia surgery. He missed 4 games. As a sophomore, he was starter. As a junior, he appeared in 12 games. He ended up having ankle. Well, in senior year, he had a groin injury. He had a procedure. He had a hip injury where he had a procedure. He didn't play in 2021 or 2022. Yeah, he's been out. He's been hurt a lot. He had a hip fracture in 2021, ankle injury in 2022, ankle injury in 2023. Then he had the sports hernia his freshman year. Yeah, it's he's had a lot of injuries, man. He's had a lot of injuries. He had a hernia, broken leg in sophomore year. He had a left ankle injury in 1 game that same year. He had an ankle injury all of his junior year, even though he played through it. He had a groin injury and a right knee injury in college that hurt him. This brother has been hurt a lot. So it's always weary to give these type of guys money. No. Shout out to Anthony Johnson on Super Chat. But I do think the passing game has to be more consistent in order to make the playoffs. Yeah, for sure. I think we'll definitely have to be a little bit more balanced. But this time of year when it's cold, running is what teams don't want to do. It's the ultimate neutralizer. It's allowed us to be able to punch above our weight class. See, stopping the run and being able to run, it's gonna keep you in a lot of games. It's a strategy that that Dave Canales really wants to do, and so we're doing it. Give him Obamacare. Give him Obamacare. They finna get rid of that, ain't it? Okay. So let's get back to Rico. So let's get Rico's best runs. Let's get into it. Fade said you can run in any direction if you zip tie 3 defenders like that. Exactly. Literally had 3 like we had 3 of our guys shoulder to shoulder with trapped in a group hug. They're just pushing guys. You saw how much these are physical plays. Again, a lot of the stuff we ran last year, the zone stuff, it's not working as much anymore. You can't be as physical and fire off the football. And that's the type of runs that Chuba likes. Rico likes these type of gap runs where there's one designated hole, you just got to hit it full speed and with burst. And that's exactly what he's doing. You see he's breaking that one arm tackle at the line of scrimmage typically. And that's what helps him get these good runs because the O-line is getting bodies on bodies. They're getting bodies on bodies. They're getting hats on hats. They're doing their job. You just got to hit the hole and hit it hard. And so it's been a good combination between Rico and the offensive line. They're really, really meshing well. I would love to really get Chuba on track as well with some of this type of stuff, because the way our O-line is working, there's really no excuse that any running back in our team shouldn't be able to get these type of runs and get this type of chunk plays. Chuba got to get healthy, but man, it's seeing good blocking. Seeing good blocking is just like so. What is it? It's so satisfying. Seeing good run plays and good run blocking is just so satisfying, man. All right, real quick. Biggest issue on offense, man, is just Jalen Coker. And nothing against him. 1 target, 1 reception, 9 yards. Again, this wasn't a game for a big receiving type of energy, but he hasn't really been able to get that breakout game. They even acknowledged it today too, on the podcast and in a press conference. So they want to make sure he wants to make sure that him and Brad have to figure out ways to get Jalen Coker involved. So I'll be curious to see how his role expands. I'll be looking for him to have make some plays. I want to see him make some plays on Sunday. I want to see Jalen Coker get involved, man. He can be a spark. He was clutch, so his 1 catch was clutch. But I want to see him get more involved. I want to see all our receivers get more involved. I want to see this passing game grow. So it's going to be on Bryce to get it together. It's going to be on the coaching staff to scheme up some stuff for Jalen. Let's open that thing up a little bit. We're back at home. The weather should be fair. Definitely should be better than Lambeau was. So let's do it. Let's do it. Said Chuba dances too much because, like I said, zone and gap. Zone scheme, gap scheme. Zone blocking, everybody blocks down. They block an area. The running back has to make the reads. The running back has to then hit the hole. The running back has to use his vision, read the flow of the defense, cut back. I'll admit, Chuba Hubbard looks like he's lost a step compared to last year. I hope he's hurt, because if he's just washed after we paid him, that's a problem. So I'm thinking he's just probably hurt. Maybe the time off, he's not seeing the holes well either, because they're not as clear. We're not blocking them as well, the zone game. We're not blocking them as well because, again, that was the stuff we did last year. People have stopped our fastball from last year. So we're putting the change up. These physical type of runs for Rico, those are gap runs. Gap runs have 1 gap they're designated for. There's 1 spot and they can go. You have to hit it and go. It's 1 designated area. You just set up your blocking and go. It ain't too much thinking. It's just about timing and pace. And Rico is hitting it with good burst. And those runs fit him a lot better. So that's just what it is. Like, that's why it feels like Chuba's like being indecisive at dance, because you have to actually make reads on the zone. Yeah, he can be more decisive. Yeah, he can run harder, which I think he has a hitch in his giddy up. But the type of runs that Rico is good at fits our offensive line better. You can see it. We just saw all those carries. I can pull up the Rico doing those similar plays earlier this year and them not working. You know what I'm saying? I can pull up, and maybe I'll do that for the membership people. I'll pull up the runs where Rico was doing the similar type of runs that Chuba did, and they weren't going anywhere earlier the year. We've reinvented our running game. These are like, again, that toss that Rico scored on, that's something that we haven't had in the playbook. That's the first time we've ever ran that play. We haven't ran these plays before. They're adding this every week. Every week that we're going on, they're continuing to build our run game and reinvent it. That's why I give the coaching so much credit, because they're inventing this stuff on the fly. They're making adjustments. And so it's so much fun to witness. And again, Rico is just on one of the hottest running backs in the league right now, if not the hottest. So they got to keep riding this wave, keep reinventing it, Keep running down these defensive throats. Let's win some ball games. Let's win some ball games. What are we gonna do with Rico at the end of the year? I don't know. I'm of the impression of just run him in the dirt. We'll figure out what to do with him when we get to the offseason. Typically, these things start to work themselves out. Typically, these things tend to work themselves out. And actually, I want to show y'all a graphic because I think people aren't they're understanding me when I'm saying like, hey, when I tell people like, hey, the runs are different. They don't block certain runs. They don't block certain runs as good. I want to show you this picture. So this graph shows, and I don't know who defines what, but this graph right here shows perfect blocks when a play is blocked perfectly and explosive runs, aka 12-yard runs. Look at Rico Dowdle here in this top right corner. That's Rico Dowdle up there in the top right corner. There's what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's only 5 running backs in the league who get perfectly blocked run plays more often than Rico. Does that make sense? There's the further you go right, the higher the rate of perfect blocking. There's only 5 running backs in the league that do that. And the only ones that have as many carries as him are Bijan. Yeah, are Bijan. All these other guys are like either complimentary backs or backups. Well, sorry, I forgot about Tuttle. He's down here too, and I didn't see him. But look at Chuba Hubbard. Down here about 43%. Kind of below average, because this is the average line right here. Because you can see Rico, perfect blocking. He's taking full advantage. So he's one of the most explosive running backs, and he's getting some of the best blocking in the league. Look at Chuba. Not explosive at all. There's only one running back that's less explosive than Chuba in terms of the runs, but he's one of the worst perfect block run rates. Again, there's certain runs that Chuba likes that they've been giving him that were from last year that just don't work anymore. Now, Chuba's going to have to make the adjustment. You know what I'm saying? Make the adjustment and try to get some of these runs that Rico does, and the coaches have to call those plays too, because the O-line this chart either tells me the O-line doesn't like Chuba, which is stupid, or the fact that they get 2 different types of runs, and the type of runs that Rico gets, the O-line just blocks them better. So Chuba needs to slide. Chuba needs to get more of the type of carries that Rico gets. That's just literally the point I'm making. We block certain type of runs, the gap runs, like I said, better, and Rico has more of the gap runs. That's what it all comes down to. No agenda, no trading Chuba, no Chuba, we need to cut him or get rid of him. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just try to deal with the numbers and the facts. I am a Chuba fan, so I'm curious about what's going on. I'm a little concerned. I'm not going to lie. Rico is the guy. But Rico is the guy, and we should ride him, pause, until we can't anymore. Like, because we're on a pace right now, running wise, that he's a top NFC running back in terms of total yardage. Keep feeding him, man. Keep feeding him. All right, let's go to the defense. They limited explosives. That's all it's about. Limiting explosives. This defense, man, I know it gives some of y'all stomach aches. I know y'all don't like Ejiro Evero. I know y'all want Baldy fired, Milk Dud Head, Lil Bill, whatever y'all call him, fired. But I think that was probably what he wants this defense to look like. Not all the way there because they gave up a lot of yards, but the modern way that teams play defense is what you just saw. You limit explosives. Like you play that shell coverage. You play shell coverage, play 2 deep safeties. Don't give up anything over the top. Yeah, we gave up 2 explosive pass plays. One because they got a free play, and the other one, we were there. They just came up and made a good play. But again, stay deep. Keep everything in front of you. It can be mind-numbing when it's 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4, and we're still playing soft. But again, bend but don't break. You're going to give them that short stuff. These teams cannot execute properly 10 to 12 plays in a row without somebody dropping a pass, somebody throwing a pick, somebody missing a block, and you getting a holding call. Derrick Brown tries to get double teamed. They try to get him, but they have to grab him. He gets held. Somebody fumbles a ball. Like, these offenses can't execute that many plays in a row. They're not good enough. They're not. So make them line up and beat you every play consistently. That's what being with don't break is. We don't load the box to stop the run. We have a pretty decent run defense. We're top 12. I think top 12, if I'm not mistaken, in run defense. Like, we're not the best run D in the league. But like, our stacked box percentage, I'm looking at next gen stats. We have the 4th lowest stacked box percentage. We only stack the box 14% of the time. And stacked box is over 7 defenders. Excuse me, 8 defenders. Most of the time we have a light box because we play off coverage. We have a great D-line. So we let our D-line do most of the heavy lifting, keep our linebackers clean, and let the linebackers come and clean up as well. We don't have the best linebackers either, but our D-line is so good, particularly Derrick Brown and A'Shawn Robinson doing this thing, that we can keep the run to a minimum. We only gave up 2 explosive runs to Josh Jacobs. Josh Jacobs got 33 yards on 2 explosive runs. The other 15 carries, he only averaged 3.6 yards per carry. Yeah, the Bills game wasn't pretty, but that was a lot of bad tackling and lack of discipline in their technique. If people do their job, this is a very do your job type of defense. We have a couple playmakers. I think Murray's a playmaker. I think Horn is a playmaker. Derrick Brown can make negative plays, but it's a very do your job type of defense. Don't do anything crazy. Just do your job. Keep playing football, and plays will come to you. Plays will come to you. But I thought they did a good job of limiting those explosives. Again, this is the way, and Greg Olsen said it, this is modern defense. You have light boxes, you dare them to run, and don't give up huge runs. Play the pass. Don't give up explosive passes. Make them drive the length of the field. Because again, they had the ball, look, and that brings it to the red zone. We were stingy in the red zone. They had 7 possessions. We played a good strategy. We ran the ball on offense to shorten the game. But on defense, we made them consume a lot of clock as well. They only had 7 possessions. Most games you end up with 8 or 9 possessions, sometimes 10. Depending on how things go, they only had 7 possessions. They went to the red zone in 5 of those. They went 1 for 5 in the red zone. So, again, they moved the ball between the 20s almost at will. They didn't punt. A team that did not punt only scored 13 points. And that touchdown did not come until 2 minutes and 30 seconds left in the game. You know? That's crazy. They didn't punt. They went to the red zone 5 out of the 7 drives, and they only scored 13 points. That's amazing. Because these teams, again, they don't have the discipline to be able to drive the whole field and execute properly. They throw those screens like on the first drive, and they end up fumbling out of nowhere. It seemed it seemed kind of shaky. And then Roseboom forces a fumble, and Nick Scott comes out of nowhere with it. That's the type of stuff that happens because the receiver just fumbles the ball. Jordan Love scrambling around, just throwing something up. Coaches being impatient. They want to go for it. They knew it was 4-down territory. Ended up being 4 and 8, and they still went for it instead of taking the points. People don't have the discipline. They don't. Jordan Love, we're playing deep to limit the explosives. He didn't want to dink and dunk. He got greedy. He kept throwing the ball down the field, forcing it. These teams aren't disciplined and patient enough to take what the defense gives. They have their game plans that they want to run, and they're going to do it. And so defense, you just play. Keep playing football. Keep running plays. The plays are going to come to you. This defense has played above and beyond what I expected. And they're honestly punched above their weight class. Especially for a team that's so bad rushing the passer. For us to be that bad rushing the passer, crazy. And to still be able to be this competent on defense. But the offset for it is the timely blitzes. And shout out to Rome 1031. He must have seen my slides. Rome seen my slides. Because the timely blitzes, we didn't blitz that often. We blitzed 25% of the time. But when we did, they were very, very effective in catching them off guard. That brings us to the next film breakdown. Let's get to it. Not just regular pressures where it takes a little bit. No, these are quick pressures where he can't do anything. The play is completely blown up from the jump. So I just think those timely blitzes have just been great. They've gotten so much better. If you were watching After Further Review in week 1 against the Jags, and I was telling you how we were giving away our blitzes a lot of times and we weren't getting home, this is something that killed us last year. We blitzed a lot because we couldn't get pressure, but we also couldn't get home with the blitz, so we left our secondary vulnerable. It's a bad combination to be in. But appreciate everybody tuning in. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up if you have not. We rocking and rolling with the film breakdown. The biggest issue, that's old. The defensive standout. My defensive standout, Christian Rosebloom, man. 15 tackles, 3 stops, 1 pressure, and 1 forced fumble. Wow. Christian Rosebloom, who seems like he's either at the top of the PFF chart or the very bottom. 15 tackles. This brother thinks he's Luke Kuechly or something. He was everywhere. And I know people saw that missed tackle he had. That was just a good play by Jacobs earlier in the game where they threw the check down and he kind of just went flying. Jacobs did a good job of coming back to the football, and he avoided Rosebloom while he was making the catch. It was just a great job by Jacobs. But, 15 tackles is ridiculous. This dude was everywhere, man. He was everywhere. I showed you the pressure he was able to get on that blitz. And then he had the huge forced fumble. That forced fumble on that first drive was crazy. That was like, I don't know, man. Like, and I'm big on momentum and just confidence and stuff. I think them getting that first stop in the red zone with that random fumble out of nowhere caused by Roseboom just set the tone. Because we were on our heels that whole drive. Again, they moved the ball through the 20s all they wanted, but we stiffened up in the red zone. And that one we forced a turnover. But that was just a flat out good job by him making that happen. But man, look, I have to give the D-line a lot of credit. They're taking up a lot of blocks. That way Roseboom can run around free. Him and Wallace have played a lot better as of recent. I want to see them get a little bit better in coverage and stuff that's behind them. They play good in coverage in front of when stuff is in front of them, like check downs and like little stuff. But like any tight end that gets behind them or any kind of out route, they just don't have the vision and route recognition to make those things happen. But when they're able to get that depth, play downhill, get those check downs, stay clean in the run game, you're going to get numbers like this. Roseboom was on one, man. He was on one. I know it feels crazy for me to do this. Meanwhile, Morig was the one that got Player of the Week for the conference. But I had to give Roseboom his flowers because we've been slandering him a lot. So I like to give credit where credit is due. I'm an equal opportunity hater and a glorifier. Is that the opposite of hater? Glorifier? Is that the proper usage? I don't know. But shout out to Roseboom, man. Shout out to Roseboom. All right, so that's all the slides, but I did want to give you one more film breakdown on Morig since he got Defensive Player of the Week. Morig, man, he's just been so paramount. The versatility that he brings to this team is just everything, man. It's everything, man. Everything. Like his ability to line up on the edge, line up at linebacker, line up at deep safety, line up in the box, big nickel. This he's the Swiss Army knife. The sad part is, man, I feel like we could have did something similar with Jeremy Chin. Well, I feel like we could have did something with Jeremy Chin. I don't think Jeremy Chin was as, dynamic as Morig. I don't know what it is, Morig, but they have that very similar linebackery hybrid skill set that Ajiro couldn't figure out a way to use them. And I do think there's some physicality things that Morig does better than Jeremy Chin in terms of being able to play in the box. But it just feels like, dang, why couldn't we do this with Jeremy Chin when he was here? Jeremy Chin was on the bench. Because Morig, he's not the best in coverage. He's okay. He's pretty solid in coverage. When he's manned up with guys, he can have his moments. But it just felt like we could have did something similar with Jeremy Chin. Like, sheesh. Ironically enough, Jeremy Chin is a Raider and Morig is now a Panther. Ain't that crazy? How life works? And completely switch teams. But I want to go into the film room and look at some Trevor Morig. Let's do it. All right, Morig, man. Big time player, NFC Player of the Week. I just showed you why. The pass breakups, the coverage, being physical, playing in the box and the run, playing on the outside, making tackles, being physical. He's been lining up everywhere. He didn't even rush the passer this game. He typically gets a blitz or two every week, but he didn't even blitz this week. He didn't even get the blitz, you know? And so every week his role changes. Against Miami, he was playing edge rusher, playing against the run, lining up on the same side as Derrick Brown. His versatility has been everything for us. It's been everything. It has. But last thing, man, on New Orleans, man, I know a lot of people talking about it's a trap game. I don't think it's a trap game. I don't think we're good enough for it to be a trap game, I guess. And when I say not good enough, I just think that our leaders are so locked in on where we've been that they know that we can be humble. We just got humbled 2 weeks ago against the Bills. I know this is the worst team, of course, but I just think that this team has the focus to be able to do what they're supposed to do. It's a division game. You don't overlook division opponents. Only the Falcons do that, quote unquote, according to them. You don't sleepwalk through these. You don't. And I don't think they will. Derrick Brown, he's been telling us all year, every post-game press conference, he keeps saying that we ain't done nothing. We ain't done nothing. It don't mean nothing. I mean, we can beat somebody 30-0, but if we don't make the playoffs, who cares? That's where literally Derrick Brown, all he wants to do is win. And that's one of your leaders on the team. He's setting the tone. Bryce Young talks about the short memory, talks about not being owed anything, that winning last week doesn't do anything to help you this week. The leaders are not going to let this team turn into a trap game. Now, of course, again, New Orleans, division opponents, anything can happen. We're playing against Brandon Staley. Brandon Staley's defense is pretty much, he's Ejiro was under Brandon Staley in LA when they won the Super Bowl. So very, very similar systems, obviously different players, but that can be a good or bad thing. Good because Bryce has seen the defense, so he's familiar. Bad, but because does he struggle against that cover three heavy disguise looks? You know? So I'm curious how that goes. I think we can run the ball on them. I think it's going to be another running game. Their pass defense is pretty solid because they have a similar philosophy to us. Keep everything in front of you, bend but don't break. Blitz timely. Try not to give up explosives. We'll see what the game plan is for Dave Canales. You know what I mean? Because Dave was in Seattle when they faced against the Rams. When Ejiro and Staley were there. He wasn't the offensive coordinator, but he's familiar with their game. Very familiar. But I just think, man, like, it's a lot of the concerns and stuff. It's trauma. Oh, crap. I keep doing that to my camera. It's trauma by fans. Dude, there you go. I get it. Some fans are just waiting on a bad thing to happen. I'm going to have faith. I'm going to believe in this team. I'm going to rock it and roll with them. I'm anxious to see where we go. I have full confidence we're going to get this game. They definitely need to show up and don't take them lightly, but I can't stand the Saints. I'm ready to smack these Saints around. I'm ready to smack these Saints around. This swimming pool. Yeah, that's on me. I kicked my camera cord by mistake. Because they ain't show no mercy on us when we were trash and they beat us. They swept us. They were talking all this trash. I'm ready to send Cam Jordan into retirement. I'm ready to have them second guessing Tyler Shuck. I'm ready to smack these dudes around like we did the Falcons. I'm ready for it. I want to see a breakout game by Coker. I would love a breakout game by Coker. And I'll see you guys here on this live stream with the blue bottle and this bad boy. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel if you have not, man. Give the video a thumbs up as well. Shout out to everybody. If you're on the replay squad, love you. If you're here live, man, 200-something people that we touched tonight. Shout out to y'all for catching the live streams, man. We did 3 or 2. I don't know. But let's exercise some demons. Let's get this second win. Let's keep pounding. All right, y'all. I'm out of here. Peace.